Hi and welcome along to AFTV. In this video, we're going to take a look at Arsenal's next 5 games in comparison to the other teams in that top 4. We go top 5 because Tottenham are not too far behind us as well. So we're going to take a look at those. Joining me to take a look at this, we've got Turkish, James and Laurie. Now, of course, we had a really sticky patch over, to say the least, over the Christmas period where we dropped points, losing 2 games, and it really set us back. But we bounced back with a great win against Crystal Palace. And now we're almost like we're looking ahead now to the second phase of the season. So first of all, I thought what I'd do, let's look at the next 5 games for us and all the other teams. Of course, at the moment, Liverpool are top with a margin of 5 points. In second place is Man City. Equal on points with Man City is Arsenal, but they do have a game in hand. And just behind us is Aston Villa on the same amount of points as us, 43. And 3 points back on 40 points is Tottenham. Can't discount them out of it at all. So let's take a look at these 5 games. And I just want to sort of debate it from you guys to feel how many points we'll get, how many points the opposition will get, what do we need to do, etc., etc. All right?
Yeah, cool.
So let's run through it. Arsenal's next 5 games. Tuesday night, we go to take on Nottingham Forest away. We then play Liverpool at home, massive game. We then go away to West Ham, away to Burnley, and then home against Newcastle United. Liverpool's next 5. Home against Chelsea, not easy. Away at Arsenal. Home to Burnley. Away at Brentford. And then home to Luton. Mixed bag. Couple of toughies in there. Manchester City. Home to Burnley next week. Brentford away. They did lose there last year. Oh, no, Brentford beat them at home. No, Brentford beat them at home and away last year.
They rotated heavily away though.
Home against Everton. Home against Chelsea. Brentford at home again. I think that's the game in hand that they play.
Yeah.
And then they go away to Bournemouth. So that's 6 in there, but I've included in there their game in hand. Aston Villa. Home to Newcastle. Away at Sheffield United, home against Manchester United, away against Fulham, and away against Luton. And Spurs next 5, home to Brentford, away at Everton, home against Brighton, home against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and then away at Chelsea. Big game for them. So those are what our 5 are and the other 5. Let's first of all focus on our 5. When you look at those 5 games, guys, Nottingham Forest away, Liverpool at home, West Ham away, Burnley away, Newcastle at home. Turkish, how are you looking at that, and what are you looking at that win-wise? Because we need W's right now.
Probably the most difficult of the lot.
I was going to say.
When you reeled them off, I thought we've asked a few difficult away trips. Forest, West Ham, Burnley was in there.
Burnley's a difficult away trip. They've been awful at home this season.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know what? That's PTSD. I'm thinking about the Sean Dyche Burnley,
but even then, even on the Sean Dyche Burnley, we used to have a good record up there. Pretty decent record.
Probably the nicest fixtures because the 2 home games are Newcastle and Liverpool. The thing about Newcastle is that I know they're not last year's Newcastle, but they'll be resilient, they'll be difficult to break down. I think ours is the hardest. Villa's doesn't look that nice. But
Villa and Tottenham, Villa are definitely coming from another perspective though.
Yeah.
They're not going for their title per se.
Villa fans will tell you differently.
Well, they are.
Villa.
Same amount of points as us.
But the expectation is not a title for
No, but they're fighting for the title, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean, going into the season, we knew we were going to be favourites in the majority of the games this season. Aston Villa didn't know, they didn't assume what was to come has come. So Forest away, Liverpool home, couple more aways, Newcastle home. That's a difficult fight. Burnley's the lightest of the 5, but that could still be a tripping point. I'd say Forest win, Burnley win, Newcastle win. Liverpool and West Ham's at the Emirates.
Away.
Yeah, Liverpool and West Ham.
West Ham have beaten us twice this season already.
So you tell me what, you asked me to predict out of 15 points what we're going to get, yeah?
Yeah, out of those 15, what would you say would be a good return?
Good return.
Obviously, maximum, but...
Well, in terms of a good return, bare minimum, it would be 13 out of 15. That would be a draw against Liverpool, let's say. But first thought is we're going to get 11 points from 15.
Okay.
I'll be really disappointed if we don't get all 5 because we've had our...
All 5 victories.
Yeah, and that's not because that's not saying that's not what I think is going to happen. But we've had the West Ham at home 2-0, we've had the Fulham 2-1 away. Like now we almost can't afford that. If we won those games, you'd be looking at those 5 going, well, you could maybe afford a draw at home against Liverpool, West Ham away, Newcastle at home. You know, if you don't win those, it doesn't really end your season. Listen, I'm not saying not getting 5 wins out of 5 ends your season in any way, shape or form, but we are playing catch up when we have the harder next 5, and City and Liverpool are doing it from a better position with an arguably easier next 5. So not coming out with 5 wins that'd be really disappointing. It's because when you fall slightly short of the expectation, you need then a little bit extra in the next 5 to pull you back up to sort of level a little bit, and that's how I'm looking at those.
Laurie?
They're winnable games, but there are a couple of potential banana skins, and I do agree with James, is our situation is slightly more difficult because there's no margin for error anymore. So I would agree with you, Turkish, when it's at least 13 out of 15. Have to.
I mean, running through them, right? Nottingham Forest away. I know we lost there last year. Circumstances were a little bit different. You know, we just remember City played just before us. We knew the league was over. They were fighting to stay up, and we lost 1-0. Mm-hmm. I think. Listen, they've got a new manager in Nuno Espirito Santo. They'll be fighting still, but they got FA Cup game. Then they go into that game. We've got complete rest. I'd expect Arsenal to win that game. They have to win that game, but I think
they are pretty resurgent though for us at the moment.
Liverpool at home. I think we can beat Liverpool at home. Now Liverpool at home will not be an easy game, but we showed enough in that FA Cup game that if we put our chances away, we can beat Liverpool. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a Liverpool without Salah. I know they've got a great squad, Jota, all those guys. Liverpool have not, they've only lost 1 game this season. But we did beat them at home last season. That also is a game we can win. West Ham away will be a tough game. Kudus will be back, because Ghana have been knocked out of the Cup of Nations. We have Calvin Phillips in them. Their team's looking pretty decent now. That'll be a tough game, but we can beat West Ham.
Yeah, we can.
But it's a tough game.
Mm-hmm. That is definitely one of the potential banana skins, I suppose.
Burnley away, we're supposed to win. And I'd even look on it and say, if you're going for a title, we're supposed to beat Newcastle at home. Newcastle away is a tough game. And even in that game, that was a tight game. Last year it was 0-0, they kind of parked the bus. Newcastle, all right, we won't know by that time because it's 5 games away. But at the moment, they're not playing well. They're like a they're dropping towards mid-table.
Got a lot of injuries as well.
Arsenal's supposed to beat Newcastle. You look at those 5 games, the really difficult ones in those ones, I think, are the Liverpool and West Ham game. But I think there's some games in there that,
But the key part of this video is comparing it to the 5 others. Right. And I agree with you, the 4 others, should I say, because I agree with you. That is a 5 there. I'm saying, do I think we'll win all 5? No. Do I expect to? Yes. But it's really possible. Yeah. If we win the next 5 and we made that 6 in a row, including Palace, that's the kind of run I want to see Arsenal starting to put together before Porto. But it's like you said, compare it to the other 5. I think the other 4 will be licking their lips and going, Arsenal might drop more points and actually really fall out of this race.
Liverpool's one's interesting because they've got Chelsea at home. That won't be easy. Chelsea always, I know it's not the same Chelsea, but they always give them a tough game. And Chelsea this season have risen to better performances when they play the bigger sides.
That is true. Right? Chelsea have a thing for turning up at Anfield.
Yeah, then they go away to us. It's a difficult week for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Then we'd expect them to beat Burnley at home. Mm-hmm. Brentford away with Ivan Toney back, does that make it a bit more tricky, or is that?
Liverpool should beat them.
Yeah, should beat them.
Yeah.
And Luton at home, I think that's.
But don't forget as well, they got the Carabao Cup final, and I know it's not a league game, but there might be fallout from that in terms of injuries or
Say that one more
the
time, sorry.
intensity of the game.
Sorry, so Chelsea at home,
Chelsea
Arsenal
at
away,
home,
and then Brentford
Arsenal
away.
away, Burnley at home.
Burnley at home.
Then they go away to Brentford, and then they've got Luton at home. So a mixed bag.
It's one of those where, like, the 3 home games, Chelsea at home, Luton at home, and Burnley at home.
Yeah, they win all those.
I'm like, they're going to win those. But away at Arsenal, I really fancy us at the Emirates.
Yeah.
And then the away trip to Brentford, I could see that being awkward.
Even the Chelsea one, you
awkward.
could say maybe a draw. I can't see Chelsea beating them.
No.
But I could see a possibility of, because they always seem to draw a lot, them 2 teams, but you never know. Man City, on the other hand, they've got an easy, that's ominous when you look at it, right? Burnley at home, they're winning that. Brentford away,
Although they have struggled with
right?
Brentford.
Everton at home,
That
Chelsea at home,
work.
and then the game in hand, Brentford at home again. Then they go away to Bournemouth, and what it is, the key to it is, out of that run of those 6 games, 4 of them are at home, and at the Etihad, they are very, very strong.
Haaland will be back by then as well.
I'd look at that and I'd think I'd be very surprised they don't get maximum points from it.
Basically, I'm a Brentford fan for the next month because I need them to do
3 of
jobs
their
against
fixtures,
Liverpool
But-
twice, Chelsea. I'm going to need them to do something.
Yeah, I'll be looking at them getting maximum points in that game. All right, and then Villa, Newcastle at home again.
Yeah.
Villa's got a great record at home. He's listening.
It's tricky.
But I'd expect them to win that. But it's tricky. Sheffield United away. Villa are a bit funny
I
on
think
the
that's
road.
awkward. I actually think that's awkward, that
Bit
game.
funny on the road, Villa.
Well, Sheffield United got a good draw with them a few
Yeah.
weeks back.
Yeah.
Man United at home.
Depends what United you get.
Yeah.
But also depends what Newcastle you get, because as well as their loss of form,
Villa we're
they're-
talking.
oh sorry, Villa, sorry.
Actually, Villa will spank United that day. That is just the typical United away from home against a team in the top 9, and they just,
If Ten Hag makes it to that fixture.
Fulham away.
That could be difficult.
Yeah, awkward. Fulham just drew Liverpool. I know Liverpool players missing. I don't know it was the cup. But
Look at our experiences with Fulham this season.
Yeah.
They've taken 3 points.
And then
out
they've got to
of
go
four.
Luton away, and Luton away's become quite a tough game for
you have
all
to
the big clubs.
fight for your life
Yeah.
at
It's not a
Kenilworth
given.
Road. Yeah.
You can see where the fall off. This is what I mean about going into this season, the expectation. You can see when we're talking about Fulham away, if we're talking about Arsenal, we're saying it needs to be 3 points. I know we've dropped points in both games to them, but when we're talking about Villa, it's ooh. When we're talking about Luton, ooh. With Arsenal, it's 3 points in terms of the expectation. Villa will fall off in the next 5 games, but my worry is we will fall off because we've just gone through cities. If they pick up 18 points and we do get 11, like I predict, that's a 7-point swing.
You know, you asked me on AFTV the other day whether I've changed my mind about my prediction. We did the big report card and I said, yeah, I don't think we'll finish first anymore, I think second. A lot of people really thought that was just, we've lost a few games and you're flip-flopping. It wasn't just that we lost against West Ham and Fulham, because that can happen, you have patches. It's that post-Christmas, I saw Everton away and Newcastle away for City. They scored 6 goals. They won both games. They were behind in both. Like, that's what's changed my mind. So City have overcome those little hurdles with De Bruyne returning, with Haaland out, and now that's the run coming.
And in Spurs, they've got Brentford at home.
Long.
You think they win that? Everton away.
Brentford at home.
Yeah.
Come on, Brentford, man. I'm a beat. Come on.
Brentford have got a big say in everything at the moment. Everton away.
Yeah, awkward.
I would fancy them to win that, actually.
Yeah.
Everton. Or
No,
Tottenham.
I'd fancy Spurs to beat Everton.
Yeah, I'd fancy
So would
Tottenham,
I.
but that's still a nasty game.
Madison back
Not
in
easy.
training.
But
It's not easy, but I would think,
Brighton at home. That's not easy.
again, I'd expect them to win
It's
that.
not easy, or it could be very easy. Like, they could lose 2-0 or win 6-1. Like, with Brighton.
Wolves at home. Not
Again,
easy.
I'd expect them to win.
Good
Should get it
side.
done.
I think they'll do it.
Yeah.
I think they'll-
Good side at the moment. And then they've got to go away to Chelsea. That'll be a very difficult game.
That will be tough.
Because the rivalry and all that. That'd be. I don't think that's an easy. Even though they got 3 of those games at home, I don't think Brighton at home and Wolves at home are easy. Those are not easy.
Not
games.
easy, no.
There's no
But
gimmies.
there are
games-
games where you would expect them to win, though.
They're games that you could see them dropping points in. Not necessarily even losing. Remember, at this stage of the season, even a draw is,
Yeah.
But not difficult. The most difficult game for them in that run is Chelsea, but not easy either. You know what I mean? There's a few games in there that
because it's away.
You got to go away to Everton. It's not easy. You know what I mean? They're fighting for their lives. You've got Brighton at home. They're a very good side if they get into you. Same with Wolves. They're very similar.
Yeah, awkward. What do you think are the hardest fixtures amongst all that collection we mentioned? I mean, Liverpool travelling to Arsenal, to us, so that for both sides is really difficult. I see Tottenham travelling to Chelsea as one of them. Mm-hmm. But are there any other really kind of big blockbuster games in there? Not really. Looking beyond that, City have to go to Anfield eventually.
Eventually. But City, I think out of that run, it's scary that City have got so many easy games. I think I could see them getting maximum points out of that. Villa, it's a mixed bag because you've got big sides in there like Man United, Newcastle. Even though they're at home, even though you say probably they win, any of them two show up.
Yeah, it could be like
it's
8
a tough
points,
game.
It could be 12 points.
Right, we've already seen United beat them. Spurs, again, as I said, a bit of a mixed bag with them in those games. Liverpool, the two tough ones are right at the start, which is Chelsea at home, then going away to us. They're getting a little momentum out of those two. Yeah. Then you'd expect them to win the others. And then our one, listen, we got three. The difference is we got 3 away games out of that 5. The others have got more home games. We got 3 away games. Have to beat Forest.
Yeah.
Have to beat. I think it's a bit like last year, isn't it? We went to Liverpool, then we had to go to West Ham afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Difference is we got Liverpool at home, but it's a bit like that for momentum. Need that win over Liverpool.
We need to win. We need to win all 5, Rob. James is right.
Yeah,
we've left ourselves in a position. Look, if we expect City to get 6 out of 6 and we drop 2 points in the next 5, that doesn't read well. Liverpool, we think they're going to win the majority of theirs. If we do get 11 to 30, as much as 11 to 13 might be seen as good out of 15, it's not good enough.
I mean, goes back to what I was saying, that there's no margin for error.
No.
And that's where teams, with respect, Spurs and Villa, the weight of expectation is not that much on them. Whereas with us, the pressure is on. As it is with Liverpool and City. But
I was debating with someone, I think it might be on the watch along, do you think the clubs look at this? If you're City, if you're Liverpool, if you're Arsenal, do you think you're looking at the upcoming games and talking about potential runs, or do you think they're going game by game?
It's a good question.
Listen, I do think they go game by game, but I feel you have to look at the games over a period of time. So I do reckon they look at games in blocks. Especially, you've got to be looking at your squad and preparing the squad.
That's it.
You've got a transfer window at the moment as well that you're thinking about. Do we need to go into the market or whatever? I think it's vital for Arsenal. I've said this. If Arsenal are going to win a league this season, they need players fit. Partey, if they can get Partey back into that team and firing, and if Tomiyasu comes back after the Asian Cup and is fit, and then they keep your Salibas and all that stuff, they've got a chance. If they're not,
he's back in training now, Partey.
Yeah, I see pictures.
In answer to your question as well, I think teams, managers and things like that, I don't think that publicly they will admit to planning ahead like that. They will give you the often used quote, we take each game as it comes. Yeah. But I do agree with you. I think they will be looking at the next 4 or 5
each game
games.
As it comes, but you have checkpoints. Yeah. That's how you see it, international.
But I don't think they'll go public and say we're doing that.
Well, I think also there's a difference between we've got Forest away next. I don't think Arteta is training the team for Liverpool at home. I think he's getting them ready for Forest away. But I do wonder if the conversations come where they go, listen, Porto's coming. Before then, it's all eyes on the Premier League. We know that we have to take advantage of this. I do one of those conversations. I don't believe that these great runs that Liverpool and City have been able to go on over the last 5 years, I don't think they just kind of stumble upon them. You know what I mean? I don't think it's kind of like, we've won 13 in a row. Like, I do think they talk about, listen, we need to build momentum. This is the run we've got to put together. We want to come, and they plan a squad accordingly. They look at the minutes. They think about everything you said, about looking ahead to how you're going to manage minutes. So I would hope that Arsenal are looking at it, even though we've talked about it being one of the hardest next 5 of the clubs we mentioned. I'd hope that they are thinking we've got to build momentum and take advantage of an opportunity here.
Okay, all right, let's wrap it up. Out of those teams that I've mentioned there, Who comes out with the most points after those 5 games?
City.
City is City.
Got to go City.
Next.
Liverpool.
No, I'm backing our boys Arsenal. I think they can do something special.
I'd like to say Arsenal, but I think Liverpool.
Next after that.
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Well, you've already called.
Spurs and Liverpool for me the same.
After that.
Villa, because I'm going Spurs, Liverpool, and Villa.
Yeah, Spurs.
Villa.
But Villa could easily, I don't know.
I just sense that Villa are operating under the radar a little bit, and I just think that with the manager, his experience, I do tip them to finish above Spurs.
Okay. All right, so guys, want to hear from you guys in the comments. Would love to get your opinion on it. You've heard the next 5 games for all of the teams. You can see in that 5, if you're a City fan, you're rubbing your hands right now. They're going to win a lot of those games. It's really important that Arsenal, get a lot of wins in those next 5. And what I would say as well, it would be massive as far as any title push is concerned for Arsenal if they were to beat Liverpool. If you beat a direct opposition in that 5, you're looking good, you know what I mean? Because, remember, the season's not going to be over in the next 5 games, but it starts to give you an indicator of where you are. But if you can beat Liverpool, win the other games, and then, you're then 2 points behind them and breathing down teams' necks, that makes a big difference. But let us know in the comments. Thank you, Turkish. Thank you, Laurie. Thank you, James. And thanks to you guys. Subscribe here to AFTV and come on, you Arsenal.